Hello there. Today's episode of Church and State is about my shirt. Why? Well, because it's awesome, mostly. But also because it preaches a message that is, well, it runs contrary to a doctrine that is widely accepted in our culture. This doctrine has its genesis with Thomas Jefferson, but has been so misunderstood, misconstrued, and misapplied that its original intent is now twisted and mangled beyond recognition. The only resemblance that this idea has to its original meaning is the name that it bears. I'm talking, of course, about the idea of separation between church and state. That is, after all, the name of my show, so I figure I may as well do some splaining. So, church and state are supposed to be separate. I mean, right? Like, way separate. You can believe what you want to in your home or at church on Sunday, but when it comes time to make political decisions, you need to leave your Bible at home. Religion has no business mingling with politics. Or science, for that matter. Or culture. But I'll stop now before I get off track. Separation of church and state means that pastors can't endorse candidates from the pulpit. That politicians need to be careful to keep their religious beliefs from affecting their policies, and that government must be totally religion sterile when it comes to their monuments, their holidays, and everything else. After all, that's what our founders believed, right? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. First, I want to give a few examples of this mythical separation in action. Governor Mitt Romney, when asked by Piers Morgan if homosexuality was a sin, responded with this: I separate quite distinctly matters of personal faith from the leadership that one has in a political sense. You don't begin to apply the doctrines of religion to responsibility for guiding a nation or for guiding a state. Mr. Morgan seems to enjoy asking this question, as he asked Mr. Rick Santorum the exact same thing. Mr. Santorum responded, well, that's a decision not for a politician. That's a decision for someone who's a cleric. I'm not in that line of work. I just must take a little detour here to comment on Mr. Morgan's intimidating hot button pushing. Mr. Santorum really nailed him when he pointed out later in the same interview that the real bigotry is not that of the Christian calling homosexuality a sin. The bigotry here is on the part of the homosexual community when they fail to tolerate the biblical position. They are the ones who are not being tolerant, who are not coexisting, who aren't allowing for the rainbow of opinions, but rather only for the opinions that agree with them. Where's the diversity, y'all? What's with the hate spewed at Madeleine McCauley for her perfectly hate-free video on gay marriage? Can't you tolerate Kirk Cameron or Rick Santorum when they hold an opinion contrary to yours? Dude, seriously, coexist.